Hi everyone, it's Tawney. In today's video, I am just doing a very light coverage, lightweight look. I already applied my moisturizer, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel, and I mixed in some of the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy Anti-Pollution Sunshine Drops. I haven't been using those in a while, but I kind of felt like I bought the product and it was kind of expensive for what it does that I'm like, I need to use it and put it to use. Otherwise, I will have just wasted 30 some dollars. So that's that. Now I'm going to go in with the Hard Candy Smoothing Primer Balm. And I am just going to put that in my T-zone and then blend that into my face. I'm always trying to find something new to do with my makeup and different techniques and different colors and shades and things like that. And I think this is definitely something that is definitely trying something new for me. I'm not super into light coverage, dewy, anything with like cream formulas, and that's kind of what I'm gonna do today. So cross our fingers that this goes as planned, and at least turns out. That's what, even if it doesn't go as planned, I still would at least like it to look decent. I don't want to look terrible. I don't want to get done doing my makeup and feel like I need to take it off. I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation, and it has a broad spectrum SPF of 50, and I have the shade Rose Ivory 15. And I haven't used this one a whole lot. I think I've used it twice. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to just dot it around my face. And we're going to blend it in with a brush, because that's what I like to blend products in with, is with a brush. I've done it with a sponge before, and I have to admit I do like it. Not with this foundation in particular, but I've used a sponge to apply foundation and blend it in, and I find that it does work, but for me, it's not my favorite form of application. I find I like the more full coverage look that a brush can give, and especially when I'm going in with a product that doesn't offer much coverage to begin with, I'd like to help it out a little bit by using a brush. As you can tell, not a whole lot has changed with my face and the coverage that I'm getting. I think I'm going to even go a little bit more once I'm done this first coat and just kind of hit any trouble areas that I feel like could use the help. That's typically what you should be doing with any foundation, no matter how harsh the coverage is. If it's light coverage or full coverage or medium, you go in with a little bit, then you slowly build your way up to what you're comfortable with. Because right now, I see the only area I want to fill in is these couple pimples that I have right here, but the rest of it's fine. Whereas if I would have gone in super heavy, then I would have overwhelmed my face with more makeup than necessary, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger and then dab over those areas. And then we're going to blend in with our brush. I'm using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. Yes. And I am just swirling a little bit / dabbing and just kind of getting all of that blended in. And I think I really like the way that looks. It's definitely not something I would want to use every day, just for my personal, what I prefer. But I do think it offers, I feel like it covers up some of the coloration that I have to my skin. My cheeks tend to get kind of red. I don't have rosacea, but they do tend to get pretty red. So I feel like it covers that enough that I feel okay, if I were to just wear this, and that would be an okay, just to put this on and that'd be it kind of a thing. Now I'm going to go in with concealer, and I think I'm going to go in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Concealer, and I have the shade Fair 10N, and I'm going to just dot very lightly in the areas that I want some brightness, because this one is a little bit more bright than other concealers that I have. And I would not recommend using a shade. If you see how light this is compared to my skin tone, I would not recommend using this shade to spot conceal, because I find that it doesn't conceal very well. Like, it ends up just bringing out all of the problem areas that you're trying to cover up, and it's not helping you in the way that you expected the concealer to work. So I would recommend going in with a concealer that's your skin tone, or even one shade lighter if you still have one that's too light, because I know it's hard to like buy multiple concealers at a time. You know, you're just going to buy one or two, and you can't always buy like the same concealer 5 times in different shades to do different things. But that is definitely something to keep in mind. And you can also go in with a lighter coverage foundation and also use that to spot conceal as well. If it works well enough. I would probably recommend medium to full, but you could probably use a light coverage one just to like work in a specific area. So now that we have that all blended in, you can't really see much of a difference, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm going for. I just want my makeup to look very seamless and flawless, and just kind of like, you know, not too intense. And now I'm going to go in with the Milani Prep Set and Go Translucent Face Powder. This is just the powder I have sitting out on my desk. So I'm just going to put that all over my face, because I would like to set all of my face today. Now we are going to go in with the Milani Silky Matte Suntan Bronzing Powder. The shade is Suntan, by the way. And I'm going to use that to frame my face. And I'm not going to go in too harsh with this. I find that when I'm filming and on camera with lights and everything, that I tend to go in heavy to try and make up for how bright and light it is. And then I go outside like in my car and my face is like a whole different shade because I went in too crazy with the bronzer. And I hate that. That's not at all what I'm going for. So I just try to like take it easy, you know? There are hairs all over my face. And I know they're not on my brushes. They're just the hairs that have fallen loose from my ponytail that think they are more important than my makeup. Rude. Okay, and you can't quite see the bronzer, but I feel like when I go out, it'll show up, you know what I mean? Like, natural lighting is so much different than artificial lighting. Now we're going to go in with the Rimmel Maxi Blush and Sweet Cheeks, just because this is the one I've been like really liking lately. And I'm just going to very lightly put that starting up top at the top of my cheekbone and working its way in so that the least amount of color is kind of finding its way toward my cheeks and like the apples of my cheeks. And then I'm taking that across the nose as well, but again with the little amount on my nose and like the more amount on the outside of my face, if that makes sense. And then we're going to go in, this is my favorite highlighter of the moment. It's the ABH Iced Out Highlighter. It's the newest one that they came out with. And I've been really liking the way that it looks and the effect that it gives on my face. It's not too brightening and too like in your face, but it's still enough that like, I feel like it's visible. Because some highlighters are so subtle that they're not noticeable. And I like a highlighter that's like screaming at you, you know? Like, I want people to know I am wearing highlighter. I'm going to say that because I'm going to use that for my inner corner and my brow bone highlight. Now we're going to go in with the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil, and I'm going to do my brows. Because my brows are thicker, I tend to just fill them in. I don't really need to do anything fancy with my eyebrows because like they're already thick enough. If I tried to go any thicker, I would just end up making my eyebrows look like horrific. And we don't want that. So I just fill in any spots that are, you know, any gaps and just try and make them look a little bit more presentable. I have a hair appointment next week. I've been struggling to get a hair appointment due to some things going on that are out of my control. And I talked to a friend of mine who used to do hair professionally. And I said, you know, where do you go to get your hair done? I need a place that, you know, is not going to cost too much, but that's also not going to butcher my hair, because we do have a couple places in our area that do butcher hair. And I refuse to go to those places no matter how many times people recommend them to me. Now I'm going in with the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara. And this is like my favorite brow mascara, brow gel that I like to use to set my brow hairs. So I'm going to get my eyebrows waxed, my hair redone, and a trim because my hair's been desperately needing it. I feel like the last time I got my hair done was around Thanksgiving, but I think it might be before then, because I think I've only gone once since August of last year, and that's been like 8 months. I feel like that's about right. Not totally sure. Now I'm going in with the Milani eyeshadow primer to just prime my eyelids for my eyeshadow. So I'm very excited to get my hair done because I like really wanted it done. It doesn't like need dyed too much, but because summer is coming up and I'm starting to feel very like, because the sun's coming out, I feel so much more alive than I have like the last couple months. Like I feel like ready to go outside and do things, like very motivated, very eager to like take steps to do things, blah, 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 you know. And I feel like I want my hair to kind of look that way. And I've been losing that blonde in my hair because last time I went, I got a balayage and the blonde was just left over from like what I had before. And it's kind of a little bit brassy, but I like to get more of the blonde in there, even if I get like highlights up in here, and then just keep my root color the same, which is this. So then that way, if I don't get to the hair place with like, you know, if it takes me a while to make another appointment and get back and whatever, I don't want to have to worry about my hair being like disgusting. You know what I mean? Like I want it to at least look decent. So this is kind of my technique on how I deal with that. So for my palette today, I think I'm going to go in with the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This is what it looks like. It is my most expensive palette. I definitely splurged to get this palette. I kind of sort of regretted it at first because I was like, you know, ColourPop's going to come out with a palette like that I bought. And, you know, there's a brand that has been doing dupes. I think it's Bad Habit or Alter Ego or one of the two. One used to, and they closed, and the other one's currently, that's the whole thing. But they've been doing dupes, and they do dupes of Natasha Denona palettes, and I have a couple of them. And I was like, I should have just waited for this one, but I don't think they have this one out yet. So that kind of, like, I'm kind of glad I went ahead and got it. But then I was like in a point where I felt like I needed to splurge and needed to treat myself. I was going through a really rough time, really needed something to like boost my spirits up. And I bought this palette and I really like it. It's definitely not my favorite eyeshadow palette ever, but like my inner 12, 13-year-old is like screaming because it's like her color palette, like with all the gray, I was gonna say greens, but it has grays and browns and like silvers. That was like my jam back in like high school and slightly after high school. So I just went in with Transition in the top right corner and I just put that all over my lid just to kind of set my lid. Now I'm going to go in with a shade Blend in the middle row and I'm going to put that in my Transition. This palette I think is really nice because it offers you tips on how to apply the makeup and where to put the eyeshadow at and like how you can create looks with it. But at the same time, I feel like it's a little bit misleading because Transition was so light that I couldn't have actually used it as a transition shade. So I feel like it's not, if it would have been 3 different palettes, one for fair to light, one for light to medium, and one for dark to deep, I feel like they would have been able to do something like that, where they tell you what shades can be used in what way, because then that way your transition shade will actually match your skin tone and will look like a transition shade and not like a weird color in the crease of your eye. You know what I mean? But this is what they did and we have to live with it, and that's how things have to be. And it's fine. So I put that in my crease, and it just kind of gives a little bit more dimension to my eye, a little bit more so than I initially had. And now I'm going to go in with Smoke, and then I'm going to tap my brush so I don't have any excess. And I'm gonna go in on the outer corner of my lid and gently work my way in, but keep most of that focused on the outer portion because I don't want the inside of my lid to get too crazy intense. So my candle that I'm burning today is Champagne Toast, and I feel like every time I use it, I'm like, oh, smoky glow, like, because that's like her candle. Like, that's the one, when I see it, I think of her. I think a lot of people kind of do that. And I feel like that's so cool that, like, that's how we remember. Like, it's weird. But, so that's the candle I'm burning today because I was doing some chores around my apartment and I kind of wanted a little bit like better smell, and I made my bed and I'm trying to clean up a little bit and like make my place look a little bit nicer. So I burn a candle to try and make things smell a little bit better because I'm like, it's better, especially for the environment, I feel like, than spraying a bunch of chemicals to try and make the room smell better. I just have to remember to blow it out whenever I leave in a little bit. So that's the thing. Now I'm going to take that same shade and brush that on my lower lash line. I don't ever do anything fancy with my lower lash line, so I just kind of throw a shade down there and like, that's that. But I'm not going for anything like super crazy today because I just want a very chill makeup look. And I'm taking a little bit of that up into the crease transition area. Just what's left on the brush, which isn't really much of anything. Now I'm going to take my finger, this little finger right here, and I'm going to go into center eyelid, which is the top left shade, and it's this really nice pinky color. And I'm going to put that on the inner portions of my lid. I did get a bit of fallout from that, so just keep in mind. I really like this shade. I feel like it's really nice and elegant and would be like a really nice shade on its own, like no other shades on your lid kind of a thing. Yeah, I'm really liking this, like a lot. I think I went in a little bit too hard. This shade almost feels like a cream shadow. That's weird. I didn't know that if she did that. I'm not saying she did, but I'm not sure if she planned that or if that's the case, that this actually is a cream. But either way, it's still really cool. And I think that it's a really nice shadow. I'm still exploring this palette and I did get it a while ago. So I think that's kind of like the fun part about makeup, is that you can use stuff so many times and still never completely like understand the palette. You know what I mean? Like, you're still exploring it and seeing what kind of looks you can create. And I love that about makeup. So I'm just blending the outer color into that color, and I'm honestly not even caring that it's getting like the shimmer shade is getting all over my lid because like I don't care, because I just like the way my makeup looks already, so it's like not that big a deal. Now I'm taking my powder brush and I'm going to swoop that off my face. Yeah, okay, that looks really nice. I think this is turning out really nice. I was gonna go with a bunch of cream shades or cream products, but then I put powder on my face and I was like, well, guess we're not doing that today. So sorry to disappoint if that was, you know, if you guys were thinking about me doing that. I apologize. Now I'm gonna go in with the L'Oreal Lumi Shake and Glow Dew Mist. L'Oreal's products lately have like 50 names to them, and I'm like, can you just call it a dew mist? Like, you don't need all these fancy names to it. Nobody cares about the name of this. It's a dew mist. Just call it what it is. Like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Plump Colorish Plump and Shine, the shade Coconut Plump. This is probably like my favorite shade. I mean, this is the only one I have, but I just really like this shade. And it has a really nice minty tingle to it, obviously because it's a plumping lipstick. And I just real casually brush that over my lips. I don't need it to be anything fancy or anything. And now we're going to go in with the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. And I'm just going to coat my lashes. All right, and that is the finished look. I hope you guys liked this video. It was a little bit more laid back and chill than I typically do, and a little bit like of a calmer makeup look, but I still feel like it looks really nice. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.